Every day, millions of people make a financial decision they'll eventually regret. The frightening part is, almost none of them realize they're making a mistake, because the biggest financial mistakes don't feel dangerous. They feel normal. They feel comfortable. They feel like something everyone else is doing. Right now, someone your age is quietly building wealth. Someone else is quietly destroying their future. Neither of them knows which one they are. Imagine waking up tomorrow. You're 45 years old. You work hard. You stayed disciplined. You rarely missed a day of work. Yet somehow, money still controls your life. Retirement feels impossible. Unexpected expenses keep you awake at night. Your savings aren't enough. And one question keeps echoing inside your mind. What if I had started earlier? Now imagine something impossible happens. Someone offers you a second chance. Not to become a billionaire overnight. Not to buy Bitcoin before it exploded. Not to predict the stock market. Just one opportunity. To become 20 years old again. Would you make different decisions? Almost everyone would. Because when people finally understand how money really works, time has already become their biggest enemy. Here's the truth nobody likes to hear. Your future won't be shaped by one big financial decision. It will be shaped by thousands of tiny ones. The coffee you didn't need. The investment you delayed. The paycheck you spent instead of saving. The excuse you repeated one more time. On their own, they seem meaningless. Together, they decide your future. This is how financial freedom is built. And this is also how it's destroyed. Not in one dramatic moment, but quietly. One ordinary day at a time. The world tells you to work harder, earn more, buy more, upgrade your lifestyle. But almost nobody teaches you the one skill that matters most. How to make money work for you, instead of spending your entire life working for money. That's why millions of intelligent, hard-working, honest people never become financially free. Not because they weren't capable, but because they were following advice that was never designed to make them wealthy. Today, we are going to uncover the biggest financial mistakes people make in their 20s. Not the obvious mistakes, the hidden ones, the mistakes that quietly steal your wealth, your opportunities, and sometimes, the life you could have lived. Because by the end of this documentary, you won't just see money differently. You'll see every financial decision you make through a completely different lens. And it all starts with one lie. A lie almost everyone believes. There's a lie almost every young person grows up believing. It's repeated by parents, teachers, friends, even successful people. The lie sounds simple. Work hard, earn more money, and everything will be fine. At first, it feels true. You graduate. You get your first paycheck. Then a promotion. Then another raise. Your income grows. So naturally, you expect your life to become easier. But something strange happens. The more money people earn, the less satisfied they seem to become. Have you ever noticed that? Someone making $50,000 dreams about making $100,000. Someone making $100,000 dreams about making $200,000. The target keeps moving. The finish line never gets closer. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. The moment your income increases, your expectations increase with it. The excitement disappears. What once felt like a luxury soon feels normal. The phone you desperately wanted becomes outdated. The car you were proud of suddenly doesn't feel good enough. The apartment that once felt perfect starts feeling too small. Without realizing it, you're no longer chasing financial freedom. You're chasing a lifestyle. And lifestyles are expensive. This is exactly why so many people earn more every year, yet never feel wealthier. Because earning more money doesn't automatically solve financial problems. Sometimes, it simply creates bigger ones. Here's a question most people never ask themselves. If doubling your income automatically made people rich, why are so many high-income earners drowning in debt? Why do celebrities go bankrupt? Why do professional athletes lose fortunes? Why do lottery winners end up broke? The answer isn't income. It's behavior. Money doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you are. If you can't manage $1,000, 10,000 won't save you. If you can't control your spending today, a bigger paycheck won't magically give you discipline tomorrow. This is the lesson almost nobody learns in their 20s. The goal isn't to earn more. The goal is to become the kind of person who knows what to do when more money finally arrives. Because the first financial mistake isn't waiting to invest. It starts much earlier. It starts the moment you believe more income will automatically fix your life. And that's where the next mistake quietly begins. The mistake almost everyone celebrates, without realizing it's making them poorer every single month. Imagine it's your first year at work. You receive your very first real paycheck. For the first time in your life, you feel independent. You tell yourself, I finally made it. A few months later, you buy a better phone. Not because you needed it, because you earned it. Then your salary increases. You move into a nicer apartment. You buy better clothes. You start eating at better restaurants. None of these decisions seem irresponsible. In fact, society congratulates you for them. Friends call it success. Social media calls it growth. But something else is happening. Something almost invisible. Every time your income increases, your lifestyle quietly grows with it. Without realizing it, you spend tomorrow's raise before tomorrow even arrives. Psychologists have a name for this: lifestyle inflation. It's one of the biggest financial traps in the modern world. Because the more money you earn, the more normal expensive things begin to feel. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's necessity. And tomorrow, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. This is why so many people earning six figures still feel broke. Not because they don't make enough money, because every extra dollar already has somewhere to go. Think about it. If your income doubled tomorrow, would your investments double? Or would your lifestyle? That's the question that separates future millionaires from everyone else. Wealth isn't created by earning more. Wealth is created by keeping the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The bigger that gap becomes, the faster your future changes. But for most people, that gap never exists, because every raise is immediately followed by a bigger lifestyle. And without realizing it, they're running faster every year, yet staying in exactly the same place. But lifestyle inflation isn't the most dangerous trap. The next mistake is even worse. Because this time, you don't just lose money, you lose something you'll never be able to earn back. Time. Money comes back. Time doesn't. That's what makes the next mistake so devastating. Imagine two people. Both are 22 years old. Both earn exactly the same salary. The first person starts investing a small amount every month. Nothing impressive. Nothing life-changing. The second person says, I'll wait until I earn more. It sounds reasonable. After all, who wants to invest when money already feels tight? 1 year passes. Nothing changes. 5 years pass. Life gets busier. A promotion arrives. A new apartment. A new car. A few unexpected bills. And once again, I'll start next year. By the time they finally begin investing, they are 35. Now here's the painful reality. The first person didn't become wealthy because they invested more money. They became wealthy because they gave their money something the second person never could. Time. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he actually said it or not, the principle remains true. Compound interest isn't magic. It's simply time working in your favor. Every dollar you invest today has years to grow. Every dollar you delay loses years it can never recover. This is the cruel part. You don't notice the damage immediately. Nothing dramatic happens. Your bank account still looks healthy. Your life feels normal. That's why waiting is so dangerous. It doesn't hurt today. It steals from tomorrow. Imagine planting 2 trees. One today, the other 10 years later. No matter how much you water the second tree, it can never be 10 years older. Money works the same way. You can always invest more, but you can never buy back lost time. That's why the wealthiest investors aren't always the ones who invested the most. They're often the ones who simply started the earliest. And here's something even more frightening. Most people don't lose their future because they never invest. They lose it because they believe they still have plenty of time. But time doesn't wait. It moves forward, whether you're ready or not. And while you're waiting, the next financial mistake quietly begins. A mistake so common that almost everyone watching this documentary is making it right now. They just don't know it yet. The next mistake isn't about money. It's about something even more valuable. You. Think about the wealthiest people in the world. What do they all have in common? Different countries, different industries, different backgrounds. But one habit never changes. They never stop learning. Because they understand something most people never do. Your income rarely grows faster than your knowledge. Yet most people stop investing in themselves the moment they leave school. They graduate. They get a job. And they assume education is over. Years pass. The world changes. Technology changes. Industries change. But they don't. Then one day, they wonder why their career feels stuck. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The market doesn't pay you for how hard you work. It pays you for the problems you can solve. A person who can solve a $10,000 problem will never earn the same as someone solving a $100 problem. That's how value works. Every new skill increases your value. Every book changes the way you think. Every lesson improves the decisions you'll make for the rest of your life. The return isn't immediate. That's why most people ignore it. Buying a new phone feels exciting. Buying a course doesn't. Scrolling social media feels effortless. Reading a book doesn't. Entertainment gives you pleasure today. Knowledge rewards you for decades. Imagine spending just 1 hour every day, learning something valuable. Finance, business, communication, sales, negotiation, investing, RE. In 1 year. That's more than 300 hours. Now imagine doing that for 10 years. You're no longer competing with the average person. You're becoming someone the average person can't compete with. Because while most people spend their evenings consuming content, a small group is quietly building skills. And those skills eventually become income. Then freedom. Then choices. This is why the richest asset you'll ever own isn't your house, or your car, or your investment portfolio. It's your mind. Because nobody can take away what you've learned. But even after learning all of this, most people still fail. Not because they lack intelligence. Not because they lack opportunity. Because of one final mistake. The mistake that quietly destroys everything. Even when you know exactly what to do. And it's happening. Every single day. People think their future is decided by one big moment. Graduation. Marriage. Getting a better job. Starting a business. But that's not how life works. Your future is decided on completely ordinary days. A Tuesday evening. A Saturday morning. A random night. When nobody is watching. Because that's when habits are born. Imagine 2 people. Both wake up at exactly the same time. Both earn the same salary. Both dream about financial freedom. One spends an hour learning. The other spends an hour scrolling. One invests before spending. The other spends before saving. One thinks about 10 years from now. The other thinks about the weekend. After 1 day, they're almost identical. After 1 month, still almost identical. After 1 year, the difference is noticeable. After 10 years, they look like they lived completely different lives. That's the power of habits. They don't change your life overnight. They quietly change the direction of your life. James Clear once wrote, "Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become." And that's exactly how wealth works. Every dollar you save is a vote. Every investment you make is a vote. Every unnecessary purchase is also a vote. Little by little, your future starts taking shape. The frightening part is, most people never consciously choose their financial future. They simply repeat yesterday, again, and again, and again, until one day, yesterday becomes 20 years, and suddenly, the life they have is the life they accidentally built. Not because they were unlucky, not because they weren't smart, but because small habits quietly became permanent. And that's why the final lesson isn't about money at all. It's about identity. Because the moment you become the kind of person who consistently makes better financial decisions, money stops being the problem. Your habits become your greatest investment, and your future begins changing, long before your bank account ever does. But before this documentary ends, there's one final truth you need to hear. A truth that could completely change the way you think about money. For the rest of your life, there's an invisible prison. Almost everyone is born inside it. The strange part is, the doors are never locked. Yet millions of people spend their entire lives trapped inside. The prison has a name. Scarcity. It's the belief that you'll never have enough. Not enough money. Not enough time. Not enough opportunities. Not enough security. And once that belief takes control, it quietly begins controlling every financial decision you make. You stop investing because you're afraid of losing. You stop taking opportunities because you're afraid of failing. You keep money sitting idle because it feels safe. You keep working at a job you hate because leaving feels risky. Little by little, fear becomes your financial advisor. And fear never builds wealth. It only protects the life you already have. The wealthiest people don't think differently because they have more money. They have more money because they learned to think differently. While most people ask, what if I lose? They ask, what if this works? While most people see risk, they see opportunity. That's the biggest difference. Not intelligence. Not talent. Perspective. Money always follows perspective. If you believe there's never enough, there never will be. Because no amount of income can satisfy a fearful mind. Think about this. Some people become happier after earning $10 million. Others remain stressed, even after earning $100 million. The money changed. Their mindset didn't. That's why financial freedom isn't a number. It's a way of thinking. The day you stop making decisions out of fear is the day your financial life truly begins to change. Because wealth is created twice. First, in the mind. Then, in the bank account. And that's the lesson almost nobody understands until it's too late. One day, you'll look back at your 20s, not remembering every paycheck, not remembering every purchase. You'll remember the decisions, the habits, the risks you didn't take, the opportunities you ignored, the investments you postponed. And you'll realize your future was never decided by the economy, or your boss, or your salary. It was decided by the person you chose to become. The question is, who will that person be? 20 years from now, you won't remember the phone you upgraded, the clothes you bought, or the vacations you couldn't really afford. But you will remember the opportunities you ignored, the investments you postponed, the excuses you believed. Because time has a strange way of revealing the truth. One day, you'll wake up, look back at your life, and suddenly realize the future never arrived overnight. It arrived one ordinary day at a time. Every decision you make after watching this documentary will quietly become part of that future. The decision to save, the decision to invest, the decision to learn, the decision to stop comparing yourself to everyone else. None of them will change your life tomorrow. But together, they'll build a life your future self will thank you for. Here's the biggest lesson of all. Financial freedom isn't about becoming rich. It's about having choices. The choice to spend time with your family. The choice to travel without fear. The choice to say no to a job you hate. The choice to live life on your own terms. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy freedom. And freedom gives you the chance to build the life that makes happiness possible. Remember, your 20s aren't the years to impress strangers. They're the years to build the person you'll become. Because one day, you'll meet your future self. The only question is, will they thank you? Or will they wish you had started today? If this documentary changed the way you think about money, then don't let it become just another video you watched. Let it become the day your future changed. Subscribe to Nera Explain for more documentaries about finance, business, AI, and the companies shaping our future. Because the most powerful investment you'll ever make isn't in the stock market. It isn't in real estate. It isn't in Bitcoin. It's in the decisions you make, starting today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next documentary.